Today I am comparing the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 and the DJI Osmo Action 4. Each camera represents the best of their class, which are very different. One is a dedicated vlogging camera, one is an action camera, but they have some overlapping features that could offer benefits for some different video recording applications. The question is, which one is better video camera for you? In this video, I will share my experience on the best use case for each camera to help you choose between these two cameras. So let's start with the similarities between the Pocket 3 and Osmo Action 4. So both are video-centric cameras. They're meant for recording videos and they're not really photography camera. Both can also record up to 4K videos and both have the best video image quality for each class. Both camera also offers excellent stabilization. With the Osmo Pocket 3, it's using real mechanical gimbal for its stabilization. And for the Osmo Action 4, it's using electronic image stabilizer, as you can see right now. Another similarity is that both the Osmo Pocket 3 and the Osmo Action 4 can accept DJI Mic 2 wireless microphone for much better audio quality. If you own either of these camera but you don't already own the DJI Mic 2, I suggest you to do yourself a favor and get the DJI Mic 2 for a much better audio quality. Now let's talk a little bit about some differences. So the Osmo Action 4 is more of a traditional action camera. If you're already familiar with GoPro and the likes, then Osmo Action 4 is not really that different from them. However, Osmo Pocket 3 is more of a vlogging camera with built-in gimbal. It's a class of its own and there are not many other cameras that are in this category. Osmo Action 4 has a 1/1.3 inch sensor with a very wide lens, very traditional of action camera. And the Pocket 3 has a 1-inch sensor with about 20mm focal length, making it not as wide as regular action camera, but still wide enough and comfortable enough for vlogging and some other video applications. Being a traditional action camera, the DJI Osmo Action 4 doesn't have any autofocus mechanism, thus everything will be in focus. There will be no background blur effect, there will be no shallow depth of field kind of thing. So yeah, very reminiscent of regular action camera. Interestingly, with the Osmo Pocket 3, you have a large aperture on the lens f1.8, making it very possible to create background blur effect, and it also has autofocus. In fact, it has really one of the best autofocus that I ever used, especially for video. The autofocus is very accurate and fast and it's just very pleasant to use. Now, as I mentioned before, Osmo Pocket 3 does have real mechanical gimbal, making it very easy to stabilize any footage, and it doesn't require any software trickery or post-production effects, that kind of thing. So the stabilization is ready to use and it's always on every time you record using this camera. However, with the Osmo Action 4, as I mentioned before, it's using electronic stabilizer. It's quite different. It's not a real mechanical gimbal as in the Osmo Pocket 3. It is software based and it requires some things for it to work perfectly, which I will explain later on. Another difference, the Osmo Pocket 3 isn't weather sealed. It's just a regular video camera. It's not really an action camera. So it's not rugged, it's not waterproof or anything. So don't try to use it when it's pouring rain out there or if you're using it in a harsh environment. On the contrary, the Osmo Action 4, as with all other action camera, it's rugged, it's weatherproof, and it's also waterproof submersible. So if you're planning to use your camera in a harsher condition, or if it's raining outside or you're in a weather situation that's not ideal, then Osmo Action 4 is the better choice. Right now I'm back in the studio and I want to talk about use case scenario. So now let's first talk about studio use case scenario, which is like what I'm doing right now. You're inside a room, it is a well-lit room, and you have some props, you have a nice background, and you want to do a talking head video explaining some stuff. And I think for this application, the Osmo Pocket 3 is a much better choice. It has better image quality because of the larger sensor, the larger aperture on the lens, and you know, that depth of field, shallow background blur kind of look. I think it just looks nicer for this kind of environment. But that's not to say that you cannot use the Osmo Action 4 for studio environment. This is now recorded using the Osmo Action 4 and as you can see, it's not really that bad. However, I still much prefer the image from the Pocket 3 for this kind of situation because it just looks more proper, a little bit more professional with that shallower depth of field effect. Now let's talk about vlogging, and for outdoor vlogging, I think both cameras will do really well in that regard. However, I really love my Osmo Pocket 3, especially if I'm doing plenty of talking head vlogging like what I'm doing right now, and a little bit of B-roll. However, that's not to say that the Osmo Action 4 is the worst camera for vlogging. Actually, it does pretty well, especially for an action camera. It's one of the best for vlogging. The image quality is just really nice, but I still personally prefer the Pocket 3. However, if the weather outside starts to turn ugly, when it starts raining heavily, or when you start to encounter harsher environment when you are vlogging, then the Action 4 might be a better choice for outdoor vlogging. Now let's talk about recording B-roll. Which one is the better camera? And in my personal opinion, I think Pocket 3 is the better choice for B-roll recording for several reasons. First reason is because of that fast continuous autofocus, and also the combination of the large sensor and also the large aperture and the focal length. I think it makes it perfect for recording B-roll. You get slight background blur effect, depth of field effect, and then also with the focal length, it's not too terribly wide so that your object is not too distorted in my opinion. So yeah, it makes everything looks more cinematic and more professional. With the Osmo Action 4, again, everything will be in focus. The focal length will be so much wider compared to the Osmo Pocket 3. So it's not gonna look as cinematic in my opinion. Also, if you are recording a close-up of a product, because the minimum focusing distance is about 40 centimeters, then chances are that your object will not be in focus. So that's a problem when recording B-roll using the Action 4. However, if you only need to record a B-roll of an establishing shot in a location, or if it's a scenery, then this would do just fine. Now let's talk about POV recording. Many people do POV vlogging. I myself do a little bit of POV photography vlog, so I will usually put my camera on my chest and then I will record the behind the scenes. When I'm doing photography, I will explain what happens in the camera, the lens setting, the camera settings, how I come up with the composition. If you want to check out those POV vlogs, you can check out this link up here. But I think for this application, the Osmo Action 4 is definitely the better choice. It has much wider focal lengths, making it possible to capture not just your camera in the frame, but also the scenery. So it'll give you more context and information when you are doing this kind of POV kind of vlog. That's not to say that the Pocket 3 isn't a good choice for POV vlogging as well. I used the Pocket 3 before I have the Action 4 and I think it did just fine in my opinion. It's just not wide enough most of the time, and also because it uses autofocus mechanism, which is quite different from a typical action camera where everything is in focus. Then sometimes when I have the camera in my frame, when I take it out, when I put it back in the bag, you'll get that pulsing autofocus effect, and sometimes that can look really disorienting and just not professional in my opinion. But you can still do it with the Pocket 3, especially if you have the ultra wide lens attachment that comes with the creator combo. Now let's talk about low light usage, and I think in this case the winner is the Osmo Pocket 3 because it uses real mechanical gimbal. Then in lower light situation you will not sacrifice anything, the image will look pretty, and also with the large 1-inch sensor and the large f1.8 aperture, it'll just look really nice and almost grain free. However, with the Osmo Action 4, as I mentioned, it has electronic image stabilizer which relies on software, and also it needs to have high shutter speed for the stabilizer to work properly. So in lower light condition it will suffer and it just won't look as good as the Pocket 3. That's not to say that you cannot use Osmo Action 4 for lower light condition. You can, it even has its own dedicated low light mode. However, I think Pocket 3 will be a much better choice if you are recording video frequently in lower light condition. Now let's get back to the original question. Which camera is better for you, the Pocket 3 or the Osmo Action 4? And this is a little bit complicated because this will be based on your requirement, your needs, your behavior, and what you usually do with your camera. So for me personally, if one of these cameras will be my only video camera, if I'm vlogging a lot, if I'm also recording B-roll a lot, I want something that's versatile, flexible, and can produce the best image quality, I will definitely choose the Pocket 3. However, if you already have some other camera, preferably a dedicated mirrorless camera for both photography and also for recording a little bit of B-roll, and you just want something small and nice to record vlogs or maybe for a little bit of POV vlogging, or if you are frequently recording in harsh environment or in bad weather condition, then I think the Osmo Action 4 is the better choice for that situation. Before I end this video, I'm fully aware that there's now a newer version of the DJI Osmo Action 4 called the DJI Osmo Action 5 Pro. I think it is a better camera compared to the Action 4. However, the features are not too different, and now with the discounted price, the Osmo Action 4 will surely provide better value for your money. So yeah, just take that into consideration. However, I hope that today's comparison between the Pocket 3 and the Action 4 can be useful, informative, inspiring for you. So please let me know on the comment down below what is your favorite video camera. Also, if you have any question, please let me know on the comment down below as well. I will try my best to answer them. Also, don't forget to support my channel by liking this video, sharing this video, subscribing to my channel down below. And if you want to support my work even further, consider using the affiliate links on the description below or use the super thanks button to make a small donation to my channel. Thank you, and I will see you on the next video. Goodbye.